Broker Blast or Client Needs, what you're going to want to do is sign on to www.campaignmonitor.com. The other two sites you could check out that pretty much offer the same service is iContact or Constant Contact. I'd recommend looking into all three, seeing which one you like best based on features and pricing, and then deciding from there which one to sign up and use. I have a login already created, but if you guys need to sign up, working on a campaign monitor, you sign up through here on the right-hand side of the screen. So even though I've mentioned iContact and Constant Contact, we're going to work out of Campaign Monitor today. I'm going to show you the tutorial on this. And once you get this down, honestly, the other two should be pretty similar. So if you can navigate this one, you should be able to navigate the other ones as well. The reason I'm working out of this one is because the company I'm working out of this one, but I really don't have a preference. I think they're all great. So really make the decision for yourself. What we're going to do today, though, is send excuse me, a sample broker blast. Today, I'm going to do an email campaign on a promotional listing, but you can also do the same steps basically for a client need broker blast. So what you're going to do is make sure you, well, actually, it'll send you here. I think overview campaigns kind of looks the same. But once you're logged in, you'll be directed to one of these screens. And what you just want to make sure is that you can see this green button over to the right that says create a new campaign. So once you select that button, you're going to name your campaign. I name it usually the property address. And then you're going to drop down here and write a subject line. And whatever is in here is going to get pulled down here. So you can always delete it or keep it. But essentially what you're going to do is create something that's similar to this title, Prime Westlake Flex Office / Retail Space, which is a title we've used in the past for one of our listings. But what I usually do is start with either for lease or for sale dash and then property address. And I also like to include a nickname if the property address or the listing is, for example, a shopping retail plaza that goes by the plaza name that people may know, or let's say it's an old hotel bed and breakfast that people may know by name. I'd include that because people may not know it. You say it's 130 Main Street, but they would know it by a popular name. So go ahead and include both. Let's just say old, I don't even, actually, let's not include old. Let's just say Hickory Inn, which has been one of our listings in the past as well. Hickory Inn, comma, property address. Once you've selected the subject line for your campaign, you're going to say who it's from. I always use the company. You could also use company, comma, agent name. And then I put it, when I'm sending these out, I have access to the company email, but only ownership will have that. So what I would do is include your own email address here. You're not going to want to send it to the company because you won't be able to email when they respond to it. And your contact information as an agent will be included in the email body. I would definitely use this feature just in case they respond or reply to the email directly. Once this information is filled out, we're going to click Next. And then you can do one of two things. You can either select any of these categories on the left here, and then you'll see that this program, along with the other two I mentioned, iContact, Constant Contact, they offer these beautifully designed templates to build out of. So you can go ahead and select which one you want to build out of, modify or customize to your listing. You could also create agent newsletters or any information that you want to share, announcements of any kind, etc. So this is just a really great program. Today we are focusing on Broker Blast, so I'm going to go ahead to recent emails. This is a nice feature since it allows you not to have to build and rebuild every single time from scratch. What you can do is take templates that you've previously created and build right out of those. So I'm going to go ahead and build out of this one. You just hover over it and click on it. And just give it a few minutes to open, or a few seconds rather, I guess. Once it's opened, you will be able to see all the different areas that you can customize. What I would do is keep this logo or swap it out for one of the other variations of our logo. So correct the address or title just by hovering over it, and then you can go ahead and just click and type in there. You can do the same for this portion. So you could have, like I mentioned before, the nickname. You can have office for lease or for sale, the property address. You get to decide what information goes where. We have a section here for your verbiage that you and the owner of the property kind of create, announcing the overall features and advantages of the you're listing. So you can just do the same thing, hover over it, click on it, and type anywhere. You can do the same thing for these portions. Here's property information, property highlights, and then some bullet points. And if you click on them, you can just type right in there. What you might want to do and take note of is this toolbar up here that you can change. Let's say you have more information that you need to include that's already built in here. So you might want to take the font down so that you can fit it all. Another thing is you can change the font color. We're going to change it. It's currently gray. We're going to change it to black so that you can see that how it pops more. You can change the font type and bold it. You could also insert links if you want. There's variation of things you can do with that toolbar, but that's the location you will go to make those changes. And then changing out the photos is pretty similar too. You would just click on it, and within that toolbar, you're given the option to replace the photo. And I'm just going to replace it with the first one that comes up, which is this dining room. It's residential, but just use your imagination. Maybe it's an office space. You saw how I just clicked it, uploaded it, and it dropped it right in there. There's a couple different things on the left you can do by adding a link or changing the size of it. And you can also crop and things like that. So let's just imagine that we would change all these photos out and change all this information out to be custom to our listing. Down here, what you're going to do is probably keep this button the same. It takes us to our company website. I will show you how to change out this headshot feature. What's nice about you working out of your own account is that once you build this design, these are things you probably won't have to change because it will be your headshot. But you do it the same way as you change the photos above. You click on it, hit replace, and I'm just going to scroll down to maybe like the first headshots I see. Okay, it's Ellen again. What I want to show you is about sizing. Give it a few minutes to replace. It takes a little time sometimes, so don't panic. Just it'll drop in. So it dropped in. What I wanted to show you is about sizing, because as you scroll up, you'll notice that these photos of the property are smaller than the agent's headshot. So you can go over here to the left and adjust size using this bar. And once you find a size you're happy with, I think that's pretty good. You can then also arrange the alignment. So here we have it in the center, but over here on the left, you can change it to left. And in this case, I'm going to want it to go right so that it's closer to the contact information. You can change the contact information by just hovering over it and typing in selecting all to change maybe the color of it, anything like that. These things that you see up here when I click in areas like this or this are spacers. So let's say you wanted, you know, the bottom of this photo butts right up against this button, and you want a little space added. You head over to the left side of the screen, click spacer, and drag it over above the section you want to see create some space created. You can do that anywhere on this template. You can also add buttons, dividers, videos, text, images, etc. To delete something, for example, you see this blue box here that we don't need to use. Click on it. It's going to take you to your images. Cancel that you don't want to add one, and you'll see this black and white trash can. Click on that, and you're given the option to delete. And then scrolling, you'll see a section where you can customize your company name and address, which is Agency Professionals, and 343 West Bagley Road, Suite number 405, Cleveland, Ohio 44117. I usually delete the sections, not explaining to the subscribers why they're receiving the email, but I do leave this button here to unsubscribe, them the option to do so. This area you don't customize. This is for the subscribers if they want to share it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or forward it to friends. But what you can do is in this section, choose to add Facebook link, a LinkedIn link, a link to our website, any sorts of links you want. And what you do is just type in your Facebook link, your address, the address to your LinkedIn account, the address to our website, and these will automatically link. Once you're happy with the design and the layout and all the content within, you can send yourself a test email. The nice thing about this is through this test email, you will see exactly what your subscribers will be seeing when they open your email. So you can catch any mistakes or layout errors, content issues that you might want to fix or adjust. But it is a nice way to know what to expect when you're sending these things out. The other way you can kind of get an idea of what your clients or network will be receiving is to hit preview here in the green button. So it's going to show you two versions, which is really, really nice feature. One is going to be on a cell phone. This looks like any standard iPhone. And you'll scroll down, and on the screen you'll be seeing exactly what your clients, or your listserv will be seeing and receiving on their phone. And then here is an email example of what you can expect your clients to receive as well, kind of the layout and things you've designed. Once you're happy with both these designs and content, you can hover over this button in the right-hand section of the screen, and we're going to go ahead and select who we want to send it to. Now, I have all of these uploaded from previous campaigns, but what you're going to do is either access it through management or through the company drive. Access a list of a few hundred contacts we've put together, and that includes local brokers, investors, or potential buyers, bankers or lenders that might lead to the perfect buyer. So we have that list. You can upload in here by putting input new. But before you actually input it, what I would recommend doing is tailoring it to your specific network, and I would add any addresses you see fit. Maybe you know of an investor, you have a friend who's looking in the area to purchase, or maybe you have a past client that you know mentioned wants to see what's available. Maybe you met with a lender that we don't have on our list. So definitely add any of your own network. We definitely didn't cover every single possibility in the area, but we just gave a substantial list of a few hundred to start with. Now, we made this list and we're constantly updating it, but it's hard to keep up with all the changes that happen in the industry. A lot of times you'll see brokers, for example, switch companies, and they then create or get new email addresses. So expect some bounce backs when sending this out. Once you've selected your list, hit next. And this is just an area you can review all of your information, campaign, name, subject. You can edit it, choose to use your template, can preview it one last time. You can see who you're sending it out to. Then you're going to hit down here, schedule delivery. The best feature about this, the best thing about this feature is that you can choose to send it out now, or you can schedule for a specific time. You can choose the date and the time that you'd like it to go out. What is very cool about this program is that if you have multiple listings, let's say 7 or 8 listings, you don't want to have to log on multiple times a week, I mean even more times a month, to send out each broker blast individually. What you can do is carve out an hour or so of your time during the beginning of the month, and you can schedule weekly or bi-weekly broker blasts on each listing. So you can have multiple listings scheduled, and just by taking or dedicating an hour of your time to do this, you can have your business running smoothly, and you can be promoting your listings, and your listings can be gaining exposure throughout the month without you really having to dedicate that time repeatedly. So it's just a really good use of your time and very effective marketing trait that I definitely recommend using. And that would conclude how to do it. Send a broker blast. What you would do is just schedule this email once you select the time. I personally don't want to select that tip, since it was just a mock, and I don't want to send it out to our broker contacts, and it would be very confusing email about a fake property. But what you should know is that sending a broker blast client needs is very similar. You would just select a template, for example, and what you can do is, it would be more simple in design because you would use less pictures. But what you're going to want to include is your client need, let's say, seeking industrial space, how much square footage, the timeline that they need to be in by for sale, for a lease, any special features like ceiling height or turning radius, things like that. So once you send that out to the community of brokers, they may have a listing, even a pocket listing that is not being marketed, that would work perfect for your client. So this not only works for listing, this feature of email campaigns and broker blast also works for tenant rep in terms of client needs. So I would definitely recommend using this tool. It's a great way to market yourself and on behalf of your clients. It's a great way to stay in contact with your network, and just a really cost-efficient, effective tool. If you have questions, you can go onto the Drive and find a written tutorial, or you could call the website contacts or help, and they can help troubleshoot any issues.